Hello and welcome everybody to this web panel, which we call Market Overview on Rotorcraft. It is actually the start of our European Rotors Digital Series, where we want to discuss challenges, trends, and latest innovations of the Rotorcraft sector. And of course, the most important question is, how is the market doing in these challenging times? Therefore, I'm really delighted to welcome high-level experts from the branch to give us answers here today. So let's introduce ourselves. Dear Peter, as president of EHA, our umbrella organization, may you go first, please?
Yeah, okay. Hello, everybody. So my name is Peter Moeller. I'm the chairman of the European Helicopter Association since 2 years now. And beside my position in the European Helicopter Association, I am the crew training manager of Luxembourg Air Rescue and HAMS operator in Luxembourg.
David from EASA, as you are partnering with us on European Rotors, and please a short introduction from your end.
Hi, Frank. Hi, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to this panel. So I'm David Solar. I'm the head of the VTOL, Vertical Takeoff and Landing Department at EASA since 2017, end of 2017. Before that, I was in the fixed wing environment, so it's a big change compared to what I was used to, and I really discovered this fantastic world of rotary wings with a great enthusiasm.
Thanks, David. And it's a real pleasure to have almost the whole European industrial competence with us today. Many thanks for a short introduction from your end. Hi, Luc from Airbus Helicopters. May you shortly introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. My name is Bentolila. I'm heading the marketing and sales development for Airbus Helicopters. And it's a real pleasure to be with you today.
Thanks, Luc. I think the last time we met physically was in Heli Expo in Anaheim. Looks like a decade ago, but we'll meet again shortly. Next, please, is Duncan from Velde. Hi, Duncan.
Hi, Frank. Good afternoon. So my name is Duncan van der Velde, and I'm the managing director at Velde for Europe and Russia. Been with the company now for 2 years, and before this I was working with Texan Aviation, overseeing all the support activities in Europe, Middle East and Africa. Proud to be here, and thanks for the invitation, and I'm looking forward to a very successful event.
Hi, Duncan, again, and many thanks for your time. Then we go on to Florent from Safran. Hi, Florent.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. So I'm Florent Chauvancy. I'm the Executive Vice President for Sales and Marketing at Safran Helicopter Engines.
Thanks, Florent. And from a personal perspective, I'm thankful for your introducing yourself, because I'm sure I would have pronounced your last name wrong. And so finally, we have Paul from Leonardo. Hi, Paul.
Thank you, Frank. My name is Paul Jonge. I head up the marketing activities for Leonardo Helicopters, covering both the civil and the military market for the helicopter division.
Hi, Paul. Great to have you with us also. Thank you. And yeah, from my side, I'm Frank Liemandt. I'm having the pleasure to organize European Rotors, the show, and this digital series. And yeah, well, let's go on and simply skip to the first question. It has been a really challenging year for all of us. And with a heavy heart, Peter, yeah, we had to postpone our first live edition of European Rotors now to November 16th to 18th for a very well-known reason. We know this, especially the aviation sector has been hit hard by the implications of COVID, but it seems that the rotorcraft sector has done a little bit better than the commercial aviation. Is that impression correct? And maybe what are the reasons for that, Peter?
Frank, thank you very much for organizing this panel as a substitute of our planned events and European Rotors 2020. And thank you for inviting me to participate. No doubt, COVID-19 pandemic had and is having a tremendous impact on aviation, helicopter sector included. As we speak, we are challenged again with a series of different restrictions in our daily life, up to complete lockdowns in all European countries. Especially during the lockdown in the first and partially second quarter of this year, helicopter operations like passenger transport did not take place at all. Even the offshore operators experienced a severe cutdown in flights. Operations cross European borders were very much restricted. Training organizations were forced to shut down as training was not possible anymore under the corona protective measures. At the time, it is still too early to assess the scale of damage caused by the newly released light or more stringent lockdowns. However, as helicopters are such versatile tools, the sector kept quite strong up now, and helicopters continue to be used for important missions to serve the society. HAMS operations continued and continue at almost normal mission numbers, and were additionally tasked to transport corona patients to hospitals where intensive care beds are still available. These missions were also executed across the European borders. Moreover, I assume the numbers of these specific missions will increase again as we speak. Firefighting, aerial work operations like pipeline and power line inspections, sling load operations, police operations, and you name it, continue to be executed under specific protective measures, especially with regard to helicopter operations supporting building of new infrastructure in remote alpine regions, for example, where helicopters are definitely needed. We may see a reduction of missions in 1 or 2 years, as the building of new facilities may be put on hold due to public budget reductions.
Thanks, Peter. I think, as always, for Rotorcraft, versatility is the key. And yeah, this gives also an indication of hope. Again, Peter, many thanks for this first overview. Now, looking into the industry, does this, what Peter is saying, somehow reflect your situation as well? A clarification, please, here to our audience. This panel is not something like an official annual press conference or a conference at all. So we have to be a little bit careful with talking about figures or amount of results, income, and so on. But of course, we like to hear about trends and of course of things which have happened. So let's start with Luc from Airbus. How was the year 2020 with you? How was the market evolving in your company? And are there maybe some good news even to be reported in a very, very difficult environment?
I will say that even if 2020 is not over, it has been a year of contrast. And despite a still low helicopter market, in fact, we started the year with very ambitious objective. If I just go back to 2020, we started with the certification and the entry into service of our new 5 blades twin engine helicopter, the H145. And it has met a great commercial success. And our customers, the current one, but the one who have shifted to the 145 family, recognize its superiority for a whole variety of missions. And I think Peter emphasized the versatility of mission for helicopters. We have also certified the disruptive medium helicopter, H160, bringing a lot of innovation and definitely setting a new standard on the market. And one of our key strategic developments was also to accelerate the digital journey for our customer support and service activities. But when the COVID crisis has hit the world, we have even amplified our action because we consider our duty of care to ensure helicopter availability, and we have monopolized all function of the company in that respect. Now, you know, with an helicopter market who has dropped by almost 40–50% in terms of bookings compared to last year, and yeah, I appreciate you say we are not here to give bookings numbers. We believe at Airbus that we have a resilient model with a fairly balanced activity between civil and military. And in fact, we have observed only few cancellation of order this year. And we are still forecasting, I would say, only a reduction of 25% of our bookings compared to the reality of the market. And we estimate that globally, the flight hours is down to 15% this year compared to last year. But for us at Airbus, we feel a great responsibility to keep on going at the time of the entire aerospace industry is heavily impacted by the crisis. And this is why another strategic decision has been taken, which is not to lower our level of investment in research and development. And combined with the various European and domestic plans to support our industry, we keep our commitment to continuously improve our product and services to ensure safety and performance for the mission of our customers.
Thanks, Luc. Yeah, of course, hard figures to hear them, but also the, let's say, the hints or you're putting into the future on the developments which are taking place, the investment and research is good news to hear. Thank you for that. Let's move to Italy and ask Paul about the situation at Leonardo.
Well, 2020 has been a challenging year. Italy was one of the first countries hit by 19, and also one of the first countries that actually went in a lockdown. As such, we had to adjust our operating model by adjusting and reducing costs, optimizing our investments, and reorganizing our production line. We also introduced smart working processes through the whole company, which was never done before. Furthermore, we developed a smart delivery process for our customers, allowing customers to take their new helicopters in an efficient and a safe manner. This also allowed us to protect our revenue streams during the year. Our customer support organization has been continuing operating also during the lockdown in support of all operators, but specifically those operators that are doing mission critical operations around the globe. Despite the challenges we have had a good year. Our business in the government and product support have compensated the softness in the civil side. Actually, if you look at the same period last year, we accumulated more orders this year, thanks to a great achievement in the domestic Italian market. If you look at the execution of 2021, we are continuing to deliver our services, for instance, under the IMOS contract, which is the Integrated Merlin Operational Support for the 101 for the UK Navy, and a similar setup for the search and rescue operations in Norway for the 101. If you look at all the challenges we have, we've shown resilience and in a situation that has been unprecedented, basically.
Thank you, Paul. It looks like you were able to handle a very challenging year with some encouraging news. Let's go to Duncan from Velde again. I think it's not too much secrets told, Duncan, that you had planned to come with a huge presence to our first live edition at European Rotors. And I guess this reflects somehow the strategy of Velde within the European market, right?
Indeed, Frank, it is. And despite the pandemic, I must say that we are currently in quite a successful year for the company, especially in Europe. Results are very good. And of course, we did see, when the first wave hit Europe, there was a little dip there, but we quickly recovered. And that's, I think it was great to see how the helicopter market is reacting and behaving. Growing our European footprint has been one of our main priorities, and many of our announcements we are planning for European Rotors actually reflect that. We've decided to postpone some of our major announcements we are planning for the show, but of course I can give you a high level of what we were planning to share at European Rotors in 2020. Bell has received major successes with the Bell 505, and we have now over 50 Bell 505s flying in Europe. And these aircraft are operating, in a wide variety of missions, such as public safety, military training, aerial work, corporate and tourism. This also has been the proven choice for military training for our customers, such as the Montenegro Air Force. And during today's session, we're pleased to announce Rhineland Air Service in Mönchengladbach in Germany as our first authorized Bell 505 dealer in the world. This partnership has been highly valued as we continue to expand our footprint in Germany. And with the first ever Bell 505 dealership, we can use our collaboration to attract new customers and establish a strong, even stronger presence within Germany. Of course, the dynamic capabilities of the Bell 407, we have earned a reputation for reliability and versatility. In Switzerland, we delivered 3 Bell 407s GXI to our trusted customer and partner, Centurium Aviation, and we were planning for a huge celebration at European Rotors. As you probably have read in the news, we also delivered 3 Bell 407s to the Polish National Police. And honestly, I do expect some more interesting announcements to follow about the Bell 407 in the next couple of weeks. And with over 400 Bell 429s delivered across the globe, and with over 100 operational in Europe, the Bell 429 has been one of the most successful light twin helicopters on the market since its certification in 2009. The 429 has become the helicopter of choice around the world for police, law enforcement, and search and rescue missions, with customers such as Swedish National Police, Turkish National Police, NYPD, and many others. In September, we announced our collaboration with the top German technology company ESG to install its mission management system in our Bell 429 as a law enforcement demonstrator. we're actually planning to showcase the aircraft capabilities during European Rotors in 2020 to the European public market as the safest and most reliable high-performing solution available in the market. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much. Yeah, with a twinkle in the eye, I have to hear that you wanted to present the 505 deal with Rhineland Air Service now only virtually, but we are connected that way, and it's great news to hear. So moving on to Florent from Safran, you are partnering with Bell on the 505, but also with all the important other manufacturers worldwide, globally. How is the year from your end?
I mean, first, thank you, Duncan, for this nice introduction on the 505 and the great engine we have to power this helicopter. Regarding your question on the market, first of all, it's key to share with our customer first that production and support of engines at Safran Helicopter Engines has never stopped during the first lockdown. And it continues also now to support our customers in their life savings or sovereign mission to protect people worldwide. Of course, as mentioned also before by every OEMs, the use of helicopter during the crisis showed resilience. We see now the activity resuming. Of course, there's a little drop in terms of engine deliveries, but flying hours are progressively coming back to normal for some of the mission. Some are more impacted than some others, but in general, it's more or less coming back. What we want to also highlight is that the crisis underline the importance of customer proximity, which is one of our core values at Safran Helicopter Engines. And our new digital services have been extremely helpful in this period to keep proximity and bring value to our customers. I'd like to bring two examples. One is our service called Expert Link. This service allows Safran technicians to provide support to customers even when travel is restricted. So very important during this period, and through a secure and live video feed without seeing or meeting each other. For example, our expert can guide customers through a maintenance task and provide faster technical decisions. Another example is our service called Health Monitoring. This one allows a customer to track engine life parameters and implement predictive maintenance actions. We have just released a new daily tracking function showing that even in these uncertain times, our teams are committed to responding to customer needs.
Florent, I'm taking another two sentences from your end. One is coming back, and the other very interesting. I was asking myself these questions a lot of times. How can tech reps be close to the customer if they are not allowed to travel? So what you're describing about the customer proximity on digital service, very interesting. David, also I think the regulator EASA has faced a challenging year, if this is really fitting. I mean, you are co-organizer of European Rotors. We expected to have something big going on in November, but yeah, so there were now other things to be done, and I guess EASA was also supporting the whole branch with its activities.
Yes, Frank, definitely. 2020 is a very unusual year and very challenging one. And indeed, our common event, European Rotors, has to be postponed. This was a unique opportunity, and this is still next year, to significantly increase the level of exchange we have with the rotary wing community, and showing also what is in the pipeline for the future on the rotary wing front. And European Rotor is the perfect platform for us to get together with everyone around the table to debate, discuss the necessary actions for improving the rotorcraft safety overall. This is allowing a much more holistic approach, and also we can look where we can support the industry, reducing, for instance, administrative burden, especially on the operator side. This is part already of a global strategy we have established with the Rotorcraft community back in 2018, which we call the Rotorcraft Safety Roadmap. This is a 10-year continuous effort with the hope that at the end of the day, we will have a win-win situation for the global aviation community. The goal of our strategy is also to support the branch, obviously, to recover from the crisis. This was an aspect that was already embedded before in the Rotorcraft Safety Roadmap, but is even more important in the frame of the COVID crisis. For instance, during the COVID crisis, and we are still in it, by the way, we have supported a number of exemptions to enable continuous operations all around Europe. And also we have provided specific COVID-19 guidelines to help operators setting up their aircraft and dealing with their crews. We have worked also on COVID-specific installation to transport patients from one place to another, where the hospital were less loaded, and we did that free of charge for the industry, so it was really a step forward on our side. As said earlier, the Rotorcraft sector is a bit less severely affected than the fixed wing, but we can expect difficult years ahead, and we will need to adapt. At the end of the day, you know, as any crisis is, we can take that as an opportunity to rethink also our way of working as a global industry to be better in the future.
Yeah, thank you, David. I think we can all agree working connective is keys to success, and I'm looking forward personally to hear about the safety roadmap then on the 9th of December when the Rotorcraft symposium is going to be held virtually from your end. Let's look forward to that. We can move on now to the second topic of our panel today. European Rotors is dedicated not only to meet all the developments and latest news in the rotorcraft sector, but also wants to strongly have a footprint in the E-VTOL and drones market. Peter, how do you see these evolving technologies? Will drones replace helicopters in a foreseeable time frame, for instance, in inspection missions for 100%? And when will we see the first urban air taxis land in Frankfurt, Berlin, or somewhere else in Paris also?
We already see air taxis in metropoles. These are our helicopters. Unfortunately, not to the extent we would like to see the sector to develop, especially not in Europe. The E-VTOL manufacturers are promising that their products will emit significantly less noise and will have lower emission in general. Especially noise is, of course, an issue in the public acceptance of air transport in urban areas. Nevertheless, much more important is the question of available infrastructure, like sufficient numbers of landing spots, vertiports called, in cities, on rooftops, charging stations, you name it. Looking back to the past 50 to 60 years, I still recall the difficulties we faced to establish heliports in cities. Even helipads on hospitals are nowadays very often facing public resistance and complaints of the neighborhood. And of course, one major question will be, when will passengers be mentally ready and willing to board on an unmanned air vehicle? And last but not least, it will need an entire set of new rules and regulations to maintain the same level of safety for the passengers and third parties using or being overflown by the new air vehicles as for conventional helicopters. Concerning drones, the speed of technological development is impressive with regard to quality of cameras and data transmission. However, sufficient endurance due to limited battery capacity is still an issue. In this regard, helicopters still do have a significant advantage. Hybrid solutions might be of help as a bridging technology. The main challenge I see for drones and all unmanned air vehicles is to safely integrate them in the airspace which is used by manned and unmanned aircraft at the same time. The development of new rules is closely monitored and supported by EHA and its members to ensure a safe, common usage of the available airspace. For sure, David will update us on these aspects.
Thank you much, Peter. Yeah, I can directly bridge to David. It's not only a question of technology improvements, but it's a question of integration into the airspace of potentially unmanned, but also of demand vehicles. David, that's no question, or isn't it?
Yes, indeed. We are currently facing an unprecedented level of innovation with rapid introductions of drones, UAS so-called, or an E-VTOL for urban air mobilities, cargo operation, and other type of operations. EASA is currently working very hard to keep the pace and enable safe operation of these new air vehicles. We have issued several special conditions, such as the small VTOL special condition, hybrid and electric propulsion system special condition, and very recently the special condition dealing with light UAS, light drones. In parallel to these very vehicle-specific requirements, we are working on the operational requirements. But not only that, we are working also on the vertiport guideline, the licensing requirement, and lastly, in the U-Space or UTM specifications with the European Commission. A lot of resources are already dedicated to those activities and to enable this new market to flourish in the very near future, hopefully. That's the only thing we can really hope for the industry. But for that, there is a must, and it is safety. Finding the right balance in terms of safety objective and technical specification is a very delicate exercise, but I'm sure we will convert very soon, enabling this vehicle to come up into the market maybe sooner than we expect.
Thank you, David. Yeah, preparing the airspace for this amount of vehicles seems to be really one of the challenges. Now let's move on to the industry again and have a look how things are developing there. I mean, we have exciting startups with a huge number of products and projects from small ones up to urban taxis, which are already going into some demonstration modes. But of course, also our OEM partners here for European Rotors have their own projects which they are developing. Look, at Airbus Helicopters, how is the situation there and which projects you are following?
Well, Frank, I think you said it. We are definitely living an exciting time. I think it's fair to say that at Airbus, we were part of the first players to believe and invest in the potential of urban air mobility. We had actually a clear vision about it, and this was several years ago. If you do remember, we decided to accelerate our development by investing in the Silicon Valley, and we linked our chief technology office to various players. So we have decided to take the route of technology demonstrators. It started with our little wing, tilt wing Vahana, and now we are investing on the multi-copter design with CT Airbus. It has a scale, the weight, and the power requirement of a future production vehicle. It is designed from the beginning according to aerospace standards, and we inject a comprehensive safety architecture in CT Airbus. So we believe that with more, Peter said it, that we have a lot of other companies on the same subject, and this is definitely creating a dynamic, and we believe in the creation of an ecosystem rather than single players. And even if the business model is not totally clear yet in terms of market, it's still emerging, we see a whole variety of potential markets around it, not only passenger transport actually, but also cargo, David said it, certain medical missions and others. So for us, UAM is not just a vehicle. It is certainly the core of our current investment, but we also work on how we will partner and collaborate to build different pillars of the UAM. Again, David referred to the urban traffic management. We're also liaising with cities and creating ecosystems. So we see urban air mobility as a key element of our zero emission strategy. And you might have noted that Airbus has made the announcement that we want to bring to the market a zero emission fixed wing aircraft by 2035. And we definitely see the urban air mobility as being a key player in our technology leap. And I will add that for Airbus Helicopters, when it comes to drones and unmanned vehicles, in fact, this is already a reality for us. Indeed, we have several projects and even programs around OPVs, man-unmanned teaming, And of course, I'm not forgetting the VSR 700, which is our offering for advanced mission system for maritime surveillance and naval warfare.
Thank you, Luc. A lot of things going on, as usually at Airbus. Great inside view. Duncan, with the Nexus, you are working also on an exciting project. It is not only foreseen to be an air taxi, if I'm not wrong, but also can or should carry goods, and it's dedicated to become a family concept in the future. Is that correct?
Yes and no. That's a great question, because we were actually looking at showcasing the Nexus at the European Rotors in 2020. So maybe we can try again next year, counting on it, to be honest. The Nexus program really represents the pursuit of a family of safe, quiet and affordable advanced air mobility solutions that employs innovative technologies for the transport of people in the advanced air mobility market. Clearly, these missions range from air taxi services, paired city transportation, personal transport, but also emergency medical services and military support. The possibilities are truly endless, and the Nexus could provide transport of cargo, but honestly, it's mainly designed for passenger mobility. It is envisioned that in the future, an operational autonomous pod transport, APT-70, could provide efficient, rapid and dependable cargo transport for payloads up to 70 pounds. The APT-70 is estimated to move 3 times as fast as ground transportation, which is of course very efficient. And the vehicle is capable of autonomous flight, autonomous flying and programmed flight routes, and handling array of continuous functions. Potentially the use for APT-70s include medical deliveries, third-party logistics, offshore deliveries, humanitarian relief, and many more things. So yes, a lot of focus on Nexus, but we have so many other programs going on, as you may expect from a technology company as Bell. And let's hope that we can showcase it in 2021 at European Rotors.
I'm taking it, Duncan. Yeah, we see you with the Nexus. Full stop.
You're on.
Okay. Thanks for the contribution. And yeah, we are also developing already. We start developing 2021, and this is great news. Paul, at Leonardo, you are not developing a known project for an air taxi, but investing into research on the next generation of helicopter operations. Could you explain us a little bit more on what you're doing there?
Well, we're looking at all kinds of technologies, Frank, to develop a new generation of air vehicles. As such, some years ago, we developed a project which is called Project Zero, which is incorporating many new technologies on a platform which is unmanned, all-electrical, and a tilt-rotor platform, which is incorporating environmentally friendly propulsion, individual blade control, and a radical new configuration to allow to take off and land vertically, and at the same time to fly like an airplane. There are many, as you can imagine, hurdles to take to make unmanned or urban air travel viable commercially. For instance, certification challenges, infrastructure setups, and also public perception. Furthermore, we believe we need to work with partners within the sector and also potentially outside the sector. We signed recently an agreement with the Italian air navigation provider ENAV to develop for our customers products and services to enhance their instrumental and navigation capabilities, including PBN scenarios. And this year, for instance, we acquired Copter with the SH09, which is also a platform that can be equipped with hybrid technology or full electrical. And in the near future, we're certifying and putting in service this AW609 with incorporating many of the technologies that we just mentioned, and will be a true game changer for helicopter operators, as it will allow to travel point to point, city to city. And this is scalable technology that we can, that we are already experimenting under NextGen, under an initiative through the European Union under Clean Sky 2. So we're looking at all kinds of technologies that we can incorporate, but we need to balance the expectations with the reality.
Many thanks, Paul. A lot of projects. I had the pleasure to be the moderator for a web panel of GSA and EHA on the 18th of November, handling the GNSS benefit for HEMS operations. And we had enough with us on board. And it's great to hear about these evolving market and research work into PBN scenarios for all weather capabilities of helicopters. Florent, at the moment, the majority of your market at Safran lays in conventional engines. Do you see your business endangered by the battery-powered drones and eVTOLs?
Thank you, Frank, for your question. Actually, at Safran, we see it as an opportunity to reduce CO2 emission and to explore new market perspective. We also believe, I mean, Safran is a large group, and we also believe we have a wide range of product and skills to address such market. But looking more specifically at Safran helicopter engine, it's clear that the power range of our engine is higher than what is necessary to purely electrically powered vehicles. Therefore, we can contribute to reduce emission of helicopters with what we believe in is hybridization, combining a more electrical technology as well as alternative fuels. How we would do that, to give you one example, to help conventional helicopters to get greener is what we call the eco mode. It consists in posing an engine in the cruise phase of the flight. As an engine needs a lot of power and therefore fuel to take off, landing, as well as in emergency situation. While in cruise mode, you don't need so much power. So posing one of the two engines during the cruise phase generates significant fuel savings, around 15%. We have validated the eco mode concept during ground test already, and we are preparing the Aneto-1X for the Airbus Racer that is going to be making its ground run in a year from now, in 2021. This is just an example of the technologies we are developing. We work on other multi-rotor projects which are confidential and therefore I cannot disclose. But another public example, which is more in the fixed wing business, but illustrate what we can do in terms of distributed hybrid propulsion system. We've teamed up with EASA and Airbus on the EcoPulse project, which is based on a TBM platform. And this project will have a first flight in 2022. This is a CORAC project, the French Civil Aviation Research Council, and this is supported by the French DGAC. So we will make soon an announcement on the important milestone of this project. But this is an illustration on what else we can do with distributed propulsion. There are two other steps in our hybridization roadmap. There is also the electrical assistance, in addition to the gas turbine, which allow the engine to be sized differently. And this could, for example, allows overflight of cities in single engine application, or like mentioned before, the propulsion, distributed propulsion for new air vehicle, where a turbo generator and distributed hybrid propulsion can be coupled to enable new architecture.
It's so clear that we need hybrid solutions before we go into completely battery driven. That actually opens the final round of the questions to our participants. Not a look into the crystal ball, but simply with short answers, a little bit of an outlook into 2021. And where do you see the biggest challenges? Of course, under COVID, but maybe also some promising things which may come up for the business to recover. Peter, your short overview, please.
The highlight for EHA and the entire European helicopter industry will be our first live edition of European Rotors, which is now scheduled for the 16th to the 18th of November 2021 in Cologne. And I really do hope that we will all meet there personally again. You know, also having heard about all these new ideas today from our presenters, I'm really curious to see and to learn more about these new ideas and see more of these projects. We will need this event to reboost the VTOL industry again and to exchange our experiences, opinions, plans, best practices face to face. Web events like this one are helpful in the actual situation, but they do not replace face-to-face meetings. For EHA, we will continue to support all our members in the best possible way to survive the aftermaths of this pandemic. We will do this jointly with the national helicopter associations on national level and on European level in Brussels. A lot needs to be done to promote the importance of the helicopters for the welfare of the society and the economy. We will also look into any funding options for our safety improvements. Together with EASA, we will continue to support the work we commonly defined in the Rotorcraft safety roadmap to further improve the safety and sustainability of the European helicopter industry.
First live edition of European Rotors. Yeah. David, beside the safety roadmap, what is on your list for 2021?
First of all, I fully agree with what just Peter said. We are very much looking forward to hosting our first joint show in 2021. Really, European Rotors was the cornerstone that we need to bring everybody together. This year, obviously, the Rotorcraft Symposium that is hosted also in the European Rotor Show has been fully modified and becoming virtual. So as you mentioned also, Frank, it will be on the 9th of December this year, virtual, you can connect. And it has to be a bit reduced, I would say, compared to what we had planned, as we have had so many interesting topics to be presented and discussed over the 3 days that we would have spent back in November at European Rotors. Now, our targets for 2021 are quite, I would say, clear. First, we will continue to work with our stakeholders. We will support them as much as we can to, I would say, go over this COVID-19 crisis. And I know, we know it will be a long run. So continue also to promote the safety, implement the EASA safety, Rotorcraft safety roadmap. We are also working on reducing some administrative burden for operators, and obviously it goes also in parallel with enabling innovations such as enabling drones, so defining the new drone UAS regulations and E-VTOL. We have a lot of work on that, and a lot of people are really waiting for some key element to be published. We are working currently on a large number of potential means of compliance, and of course we will carry on working on industry projects to improve the fleets and also enable deliveries for all the stakeholders we have. We will need also to adapt, most probably our own organization, to better suit this new world, which will be more challenging than ever.
Thanks, David. Yeah, with regard to visibility of all your actions, we promise you the optimum support, if possible, of course, leading towards the first live edition of the show. Looking into the industry, Luc, again from Airbus, is there anything which you can tell us about targets and challenges for 2021? Respecting, of course, again, that you cannot talk about a real income, revenues, or things like that.
Yes. If I may, I'd like to also give a midterm perspective. Earlier in this panel, I said that the helicopter market was in its lowest. We, in fact, forecasted 2021. That would be the year of start of recovery. But with the pandemic, this has dramatically changed the paradigm. And it is impacting our customers, and it is changing the way we interact. So for 2021, we will amplify our service to customers, such as digital services, distance learning, and data analytics. And thanks to our network of customer service and customer centers on the 5 continents, we are investing in our capacity to maximize helicopter availability and to offer new service to our customers. Earlier, you asked a question on how to stay close to customers and having our tech rep close to them. I believe with our local presence, this is a model we have developed to serve our customers. On the product side, 2021 will definitely be the year of the entry into service of the H160 and the industrial ramp-up that goes with it. So it's a very exciting time for us. And as Peter said at the beginning of his discussion, each market segment is different. And this is why at Airbus, in addition to our regional approach for better customer proximity again, we also have a market segment approach, allowing us to offer a more adequate product and services. And I will pick 1 or 2 examples to illustrate. For example, with the Airbus corporate helicopters, we have a dedicated organization and brand to cope with private and business aviation market segment. In 2021, we'll be promising again with the entry into service of the ACH 160 for private and business aviation customers. Another example is the energy segment with continuous improvement on the super medium H175, the arrival of the medium H160. We are offering an incomparable capabilities for the oil and gas missions, but we're also happy to support our customers developing very rapidly on the offshore wind energy segment. And we are also tireless in investment on this segment that we want to lead. So looking beyond 2021, the business model of Airbus Helicopters is resilient, as I said earlier, thanks to our balanced activities between civil and military. But we have to recognize that the development cycle in our industry requires that we continue to invest in research and development. We have to look beyond the short term, and even in difficult times, this is something we are committed to. We believe it is our responsibility as OEM. The supply chain of this industry is dependent to the decision we take. That's why we continue to invest. And to finish, I would say that this panel is a good illustration on the way interaction between people has changed. We are developing new digital means to stay connected with our customers. But on a more personal note, I do hope that 2021 will bring us the capacity to reconnect physically. And I'm making a wish that we're not going to reconnect like this, but I really hope that we're going to reconnect like that. So I'm looking forward to the European Rotor Show to meet again.
Many thanks for that, Luc. I was hoping that this might be 45 minutes without seeing a mask, but you screwed it. No, without joking, keeping fingers crossed and good luck for entry into service of the H160. It's always great to have a new product entering the market, and we will hear a lot about it on the first edition of our show. Thank you for that, Luc. Duncan, at Bell, we have heard about 505, how you're evolving and how you are, let's say now, moving on into the market. Can you tell us a little bit more about your plans and the agenda for 2021?
Yeah, and I thought it over, what to share and what not, because we are working on so many things, and I do agree with Airbus, right? It's a time to continue to invest, look at the future, hopefully without mask, but people safety is top priority. But getting together next year and doing that, all these things on stage, have our preference, of course. To be honest, Bell is, and me in particular, is quite optimistic about what the next year will bring for Bell in Europe. And into Russia, and we have some exciting announcements to heading for us next year. Without revealing too much, but of course we have our award-winning support network in Europe, which is a combination of Bell-owned support network and a Bell-authorized network. Has been in place for many years and has been very successful. And it's important that we continue to expand our European footprint, and this is exactly what you will see in 2021. We are already top performing there on the support side, but it's never enough, and we will continue to drive for more success on the support side. Very soon we will launch our German website, the German Bell website, and we believe that creating this website, it will help to build the company's presence in Germany by creating new connection with its people. And this website will include Bell products and service information, company history, testimonials, and news releases. In 2021, we will be able to an entirely new capability to the 505 operators by releasing the external load operations. With a Bell 505 horsepower engine, the cargo hook capable of carrying over 2,000 pounds, the Bell 505 is ready to the most cost-efficient and versatile single-engine helicopter in the European market. Of course, at HCI, we refilled our collaboration with the Norwegian oil and gas operator Wintershall DE to pioneer new ways of doing business. The collaboration sets the 525 as the ideal aircraft in the North Sea area. Bell is nearing the certification of the 525 and looks forward to its future in Europe and around the world. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share too many details about the things we are planning for the Bell 525 during this session, but rest assured that there's much more to come about this 21st century helicopter over the next couple of weeks and months in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan. Really encouraging to hear what is in your agenda for 2021. Moving onwards to Italy again. Paul, from your end, what is on your to-do list for 2021?
Well, 2021, we are carefully looking at what is happening with COVID-19. The focus is on the execution of the industrial plan. The focus will be on new programs, AW249, AW609, and the SH09, including Copter that will be incorporated in our industrial operations. We will be delivering the first AW169 with skids to the market, and we will continue to deliver and start delivering the MH139 and the TH73A to US DoD. Furthermore, we are expanding our facilities, training facilities in the US with new simulators for the 609 and the 169. And we are expanding our support facilities in Brazil, supporting the Brazilian market, but also the South American market. The future is positive for us. We will continue to invest in innovation, leveraging our competencies, our products, and our services. 2021 is fundamental for us, as said, and we feel confident due to the solid backlog, the customer relations we have, the product mix, and also the leadership in many of the segments that we operate in, thanks to our products and our services.
We hope to hear and see a lot of things which you are doing over the year on our next edition, first live edition of European Rotors in 2021. And last but not least, again, Florent, where will 2021 lead you and Safran to?
Frank, on our side, two key words, I would say caution and confidence. We have to be cautious with our forecasts, of course, but confident in the future and the missions of the helicopter industry. And that is why we are still strongly investing in our current and future product and service range to bring value added to our customers. For 2021, I would mention 5 major milestones. The first one being customer satisfaction. As you know, Safran HE has been ranked #1 in customer satisfaction in the Vertical Mag survey, with a special focus on our performance during the crisis period. And of course, our objective and the objective of the 6,000 people of Safran helicopter engine is to continue to meet the customer satisfaction, being responsive and mission focused for our customer wherever they are, as per our current campaign on social networks, responsive engines. The second objective, as Luc mentioned it, is the entry into service of the Airbus H160. It's a great helicopter with a great engine, the Arano engine. And of course, we have to be successful with Airbus on this entry into service. The second one is also the entry into service of the AW189K from Leonardo, with our Aneto 1K engine that bring significant value to the helicopter. And third objective is to ensure the ramp up of the Bell 505 with the Arius-2R and our support by the Hour Service Range 5-star, and to address new missions with this great helicopter as well. Last but not least, like I said, we are confident in the future. Therefore, we are preparing this future through investing 15% of our sales in research and technology, and to improve the gas turbine technology, as well as exploring new air mobility and of course develop greener helicopter and greener technologies.
Thanks, Florent, and thank you all for these interesting discussions and all the valuable information from you. I think this is one of our unique selling points of the brand of European Rotors, that we are really bringing everybody together on high level and really exchanging information. We know that the current situation is of historic dimensions, and but I think we can all agree that we can master it with masks, Luc, with cooperation, faith, and respect. Our panel has also underlined again how important helicopters are for the sake of the society in so many, many fields, as Peter was able to describe it. It is the B of aviation, and it is so valuable and it's so versatile. And with regard to the pandemic, just allow me to say one sentence. I think history has proven that we will come back all stronger after each valley we had to pass. So good luck to all of you, and looking forward to cooperating with you in preparing our first live edition of European Rotors in 2021, 16th to 18th of November. Meanwhile, stay tuned and follow us on the European Rotors Digital Series. Please register for EASA's virtual symposium on the 9th of December. Each and every topic and stream is promoted via our social media channels and is present on the webpage. Many thanks to our service providers from Messe Friedrichshafen for their technical support for organizing this panel. Well, simply stay safe, respect the measurements against COVID, and meet you soon physically. Thanks and goodbye.